Hello, guys. How's it been going? You know, had a lot of mom things to do yesterday. Monday being Monday. Um, so I'm just now getting back to getting some recordings done. And another one, I had some other things that I'm working on, but this subject keeps jumping to the forefront for me, and that is Aaron Spencer. Now, in case you don't know who I'm talking about, Aaron Spencer is the father of a 13-year-old young lady in Arkansas who has been charged with second degree unaliving after, oh gosh, it just makes me ill to even talk about it. After his 13-year-old daughter, first of all, was assaulted by a 67-year-old man. This man was arrested, put in jail, and immediately released on a $50,000 bond, which is $5,000 cash. Uh, Here's the kicker, though. Not only did he have the assault charges from this 13-year-old female, he also had over 30 additional charges for digital creation, dissemination, of young people, including this young lady. They just let him back out. Oh, another kicker. He's the former sheriff in Hamlet, Indiana, where he also was a school. What do you call them? The people that go to the school. Hold on, let me look. What do they call them? The school officer, the cop that goes to the school and just hangs around all the kids, making sure everything's going okay. Yeah, he's one of those too. Um, okay, so they let him back out. They get close to his trial date, and one night, in the middle of the night, Aaron Spencer's daughter's dog starts barking, waking Aaron Spencer and his wife. They get up and they go to her room, and she's gone. So immediately they call 911 because they knew something was wrong. I mean, the dog's barking. So clearly, they're thinking somebody has taken her. Well, the first person that comes to mind is her, abuser, her attacker. So they call 911, let them know that their daughter's been, kidnapped. And they also let them know, hey, we're about to go to trial over this person assaulting my daughter. It could be him. Immediately after that, Aaron Spencer jumps into his truck and lo and behold, rides up on her attacker's truck. And guess who is in the passenger seat? His daughter. Aaron Spencer gives chase, runs the guy off the road. Aaron Spencer gets out of his vehicle, goes up to the attacker's vehicle to get his daughter, gets his daughter out, and as they're going back to his truck, her attacker attacks Aaron Spencer. Aaron Spencer, who has a firearm on his person, because that's his constitutional right to keep and bear arms. Um, he's being attacked by her attacker. He shoots the man. He and his daughter get in his vehicle to go back home. He immediately again calls 911, tells them, "Hey, I have found my daughter. Her attacker did have her. There was an altercation. I shot him. He's on the side of the road. Y'all need to send, EMS." Now, the state of Arkansas is choosing to not only um, charge him with second degree unaliving of this predator. The judge who is involved in the case has also put a complete gag order on this case. Okay? And we're going to give her a little name in just a minute. But, this is all occurring in Lenoke County, Arkansas. The predator's name is Michael Fossler. Fossler? And like I said, he is a former sheriff in Hamlet, Indiana, and also a former school resources officer. Who, like I said, was arrested in Aaron's daughter's attack, and also had received over 30 charges. So he was literally let out on bail with, I think it was 46 or 47 charges regarding predator behavior. That right there is strike one on the state. You are not protecting your citizens, okay? Anywhere else in the world, if you were arrested for not only, I mean, he was arrested for, attacking her, for assaulting her, so he has those charges, but in that investigation, you found that many more, for producing, digital images, also, including that 13-year-old girl. That person would be probably kept, or at least there would be something else done other than just, oh, here, we'll just let him out on bond. Here, go ahead. But they did. And from what I understand, this person, Michael Fossler, who is deceased now, age 67, grown man, married, has children, has grandchildren, including daughters. Also had previous offenses. So, yeah, there's that. So, yeah, I just want to talk about that for a minute. I mean, what do y'all think about that? Now, just the fact alone that the state of Arkansas allowed this man to go free and run reckless amongst the, innocent public. I mean, that's not even speaking due to, you're now going to charge this man had to go rescue his daughter for a second time because the state of Arkansas failed his daughter and all other young women in that area by allowing this man to just go free. Now to even make matters worse, the judge in this case has put a complete gag order on this case. Now, if you think back to the Karen Read case pretty recently, there was a gag order on the Karen Read case. Now, but the gag order was only included like attorneys, anyone that had to do with the trial itself. Putting a gag order on the defendant, you're, encroaching on their freedom, on their rights to freedom of speech. Karen Read, if you remember, Karen Read could speak every time they would leave a hearing. Her attorneys could not speak, but Karen Read could. Okay, that's not the case here. This judge has a gag order preventing Aaron Spencer. Put it this way. If Aaron Spencer walks out on his front porch and says, I'm not guilty. Yes, guess what? That's, he's going against the gag order, which could be, a contempt charge. This is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, now the judge that we have over, who has done this is Barb Elmore. Now, apparently, gotten a little info from some people that live in that area. Judge Barb Elmore, she is much, much, much like Judge Beverly Coney. She likes to protect her law enforcement officers. They say that in previous cases where there were law enforcement officers involved in any type of case where it made the law enforcement look less than stellar, she's put a gag order. So apparently that's something that she likes to do. But like I said, I mean, that's, you are deliberately encroaching on that man's freedom of speech. He should be able to speak on his behalf for his innocence. And Judge Barb Elmore has not done that. On top of the fact that here's another little, tasty nugget that's come out. Um, you know, his arraignment was a closed arraignment. Like literally closed. No public. Why is that? They allowed no one to, it was a closed arraignment. That's something that's, I mean, you're keeping your public now from knowing, that's all part of, that's how our judicial system works is, you have all the checks and balances, open arraignment. No, his was closed. I wonder why. Maybe because he's a former a former officer of the law, you know, and Judge Barb Elmore didn't want anybody to know about it. That's just on top of that. I mean, that just to me screams bias. That's a biased judge, and that's an overzealous prosecutor. Is what that screams. Okay. You know, basically, that's her trying to shield. It's they're trying to shield from the public scrutiny of the fact that they allowed an offender, a known offender, to walk free after he assaulted a 13-year-old girl and then accumulated, over 40 charges he had by the end of that. They're trying to shield themselves from the public scrutiny of the fact that it's their fault that this happened. It is their fault that this happened. And here's another little nugget that has come out. Okay. Yeah, we know that he, was arrested initially for the assault and then the digital images. Okay. It didn't just happen one time. Okay. Apparently, he did it again when he kidnapped her. He assaulted her again after. So keep in mind, he's already assaulted her once, been arrested. They found all the stuff on his computer. They let him out. Not only did he kidnap her, he assaulted her again. He assaulted her again. Okay? And then when her father had to rescue her from him because the state failed her, Judge Barb Elmore failed her. The state of Arkansas failed her. The Lonoke County failed her. When her father didn't fail her, you want to charge him with second degree? No, that's just you're trying to shield the public, from, seeing from you don't want the criticism. Well, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. And I urge all of you that are listening to this to not keep your mouth shut either. We have to let these people know that this is not okay. The way that this is being handled is not okay. They're basically trying to say, in his charges. They're trying to say that he shot this man without justifiable cause. What? Without justifiable cause? Here's the justifiable cause. Okay? The justifiable cause is this. That man assaulted his daughter, took pictures of his daughter, had those on his computer. He was arrested for that. You guys let him out. He kidnapped her and assaulted her again. And as her father is having to save her and rescue her because the state of Arkansas did not protect her, and this man attacked him as he's saving her, that's his justifiable cause, right? The justifiable cause is it even starts because the state of Arkansas didn't do its job because Judge Barb Elmore wants to protect people of law enforcement background. Okay? There's his justifiable cause right there. But they're trying to say that he did it without justifiable cause. Okay? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's basically they're trying to place the blame on him for they're blaming him for having to save his kid by charging him with second degree. They're placing the blame on Aaron Spencer for having to save his child. And no, the blame is on the state of Arkansas, county of Lenoke, Judge Barb Elmore, and anyone else who has anything to do with it. The state did not protect this young lady. It is their fault, not Aaron Spencer's. Aaron Spencer should not have been having to go out in the middle of the night to save his daughter from Michael Foster because the state of Arkansas didn't do their job. But the state of Arkansas wants to keep you from knowing any of this, right? They do. They want to keep you from knowing about this. They want to keep everybody from knowing. Judge Barb Elmore, this is her MO. Okay? Her modus operandi, method of operation. This is what she does when she has people in the law enforcement background that don't follow the rules and she doesn't want to be embarrassed. So she places a full gag order on including the defendant, which is taking away his freedom of speech. And, again, just as with the Karen Reed case, okay, this is about Aaron Spencer getting a fair trial, not about the state of Arkansas having a fair trial, much like, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts stating that they needed a fair trial. No, sir. No, sir. It's the burden. The burden is on you. The burden is on you, the state of Arkansas. There's not enough fairness about that. He's innocent until proven guilty, but that's the problem. You have shut his mouth. He can't speak to his innocence because Judge Barb Elmore has shut his mouth. Now, that is not right. It's unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional, people. Okay? Unconstitutional. All right? So, why would this happen? Why do you think that they would why would, Judge Barb do such a thing? Oh, why would she do that? Because here's the deal. Either the state already knew that this man already had priors, or number two, they didn't do their due diligence the first time when they had him in their custody when he assaulted her initially. Okay? So let's talk about it. How many, I wonder, okay, so we know now that he's had priors. And this is a repeated offender against this 13-year-old girl. So I wonder, how many girls did Aaron Spencer save from the same fate? Because clearly the state of Arkansas didn't care. State of Arkansas didn't care how many people he assaulted. They let him out, even though they knew. Either they knew or they didn't do their due diligence in finding out when they had him in their custody the first time. But Aaron Spencer, because the state put the burden on him to keep his daughter safe, and when Michael Foster attacked him, he shot him. Okay. How many kids has Aaron Spencer saved from the same fate? I wonder. I really, really, really wonder. You know, this just really upsets me that you're going, and they're trying to do this because they don't want the media to find out that they have charged an SA victim's father with second-degree unaliving. That's the problem. They don't want the media to know either. Because here, if you put a standard gag order on there, and of course they're trying to spin it every different way that they can. Well, we have to keep, for a jury pool, we don't want to corrupt any of this, that, and the other. When actually they don't want him to talk. Because here's the thing. Lori Vallow Daybell, they were able to, and Judge Boreski talks about this, how they were able to actually get a jury who had never heard of her. Not only were they able to get a jury that had never heard of her, they actually had to turn people away who had also never heard of her. All right. Karen Reed case, same thing. So don't sit there and tell me that you're trying to protect the jury pool. Okay. Even with that, if you thought that the jury pool might be tainted, because this is a small place, okay, well, you have other options. You can do a change of venue. You can try him in another county. You have that option. Okay. What about voir dire? We have you get those people in there and you do a good voir dire on all of the jury when you're selecting. And if you don't know what that is, that's where each individual juror comes in individually, without, any of the rest of them. And they are questioned rigorously, by the prosecution and, defense attorneys, so that they can make sure that this person is truly coming into the case without any prior knowledge or, whatever. Okay. You have all those options. Yeah, you have all those options. But Judge Barb Elmore goes to straight to attacking Okay, guys, I don't know what happened. I think I lost connection somehow, which never happens, so that's really weird. But anyway, regardless, this judge has gone straight from, having plenty of other options as far as the jury pool is concerned, changing, have a change of venue. You could, have a rigorous voir dire of the jury pool. But no, Judge Barb Elmore went straight to, we're going to take away his freedom of speech. It's unconstitutional. She's just wanting to hide the fact that the state of Arkansas did not do their job one way or the other. Either they let him out knowing that he had priors, or they let him out and they didn't do their job. They didn't do their due diligence in looking at his past record, and they let him out. Okay? And they're trying to, because Aaron Spencer had to protect his daughter. They're putting the blame on him and trying to charge him. No, this is not. It's unconstitutional. And the media attention, they say they're trying to stop media attention. Well, what do you think that this is going to cause? If you really, because I'm not going to stop talking about it. I know that there are other people that are not going to stop talking about it, and I beg all of you out there to please talk about it. Let your voice be known that what they are doing in Arkansas to Aaron Spencer is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. And, this gag order should be lifted immediately. It is unconstitutional. Like I said, on top of the fact that, as far as media, they don't want, the world to know that they've charged a child who was a victim of an SA, her father, with the second degree unaliving of her attacker. Aaron Spencer, he has the right to assert his innocence. Okay? He has that right. Even if he were to, like I said earlier, if he were to be in a restaurant and a group of people come to him and say, what happened? Did you just harm this man for no reason? If he were to say anything, for him to say, I am not guilty, goes against the gag order. He has the right to assert his innocence. And that is just, it is sick. No gag order should go against our Constitution. You have, especially, when they're using all of these, reasons, when you have all of these other appropriate remedies that would be fine. Okay? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it must be lifted. Just talking about this, we do have this problem in law enforcement and in some areas in the entire judicial system, where you have the good old boys club. You protect the good old boys club at all costs. No, not when it infringes on their constitutional rights. You don't. On top of the fact that it needs to be known that the state of Arkansas is not doing its job at all. They're not doing their job and trying to place the blame of that man. That man lost his life, and they want to place the blame on the 13-year-old girl who was that he assaulted. They're wanting to place the blame on her father when it's the state of Arkansas's fault. They let him out. Either they like I said again, either they let him out knowing that he had priors, or they just did not do their due diligence in checking his background, or they just let him out because he was part of the good old boys club. That happens too. What I know is, number one, and most assuredly, Aaron Spencer should not be sitting there with charges for second-degree murder because he had to protect his daughter because the state of Arkansas did not. Number two, Aaron Spencer also should not be under a gag order which infringes on his right to free speech and his right to pronounce his innocence. Okay? Shouldn't. So, Guys, please, get the word out there. We need for this case to go viral. We need it to be known. Talk about it. Let people know. Please, if please, if you, like the content here, this is the kind of content I do. I want to protect children. I want to protect children. I want to protect all victims. I want to make sure that all victims have their rights. I want to make sure that our judicial system is working in the way that it should, and not infringing on our constitutional rights. We have a constitution for a reason. We have laws for a reason. But when we have people like Judge Barb Elmore, who likes to protect law enforcement, even when law enforcement is wrong, guess what? That's not right. And then you're going to infringe on someone's freedom of speech and keep them from being able to pronounce their innocence? No, that's not right. Nope, it's not. Guys, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have more. The more information, I can promise you, the more information that I get on this case, the more videos I'm going to make about it, and others. So, like I said, guys, please give me a like and a subscribe. To subscribe to the channel is the best way to help me out here. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing to subscribe to the channel. And like I said, any little bit of info I get, I'm going to be giving it to you. So, all right, guys. Well, like I said, please, let's get the word out here. Let's not let Aaron Spencer down. And for the most part, let's not let his daughter down. Okay? Because the state of Arkansas already has. So, all right, guys. As I always say, have fun, be safe, and always know that you are loved. Loved you guys. Bye.